Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Pike Liberal Arts Patriots Football Show with Coach Gene Allen as we talk about a big win in Montgomery this last Friday night. And Coach, tell us about it.
Well, it was a hard fought game. We knew that Success had some very good athletes. And once again, we were kind of limited. With a lot of kids hurt, had about 10 not dressed again. So that kind of handcuffed us a little bit, but we came out and played pretty well. Took it down and kicked a field goal early in the game. Scott Taylor did a really good job. Getting the ball through.
How far was it, Coach?
It was like a 35-yarder, something like that. Scott Taylor's an outstanding kicker and put us up 3, and then we came back and Davis Allen scored on a big play for us, about a 40-something yard play, and put us up 10-0 at halftime. And we were playing really good defensively, and Success ended up picking up a fumble and ran it back for a touchdown and missed extra point. So and then we ended up getting a field goal block later in the game, but we ended up winning 10-6. So
a win's a win, Coach.
It was a good win, especially when you've been struggling a little bit, and it was another region win. So that was a big thing for us.
This show is brought to you by our good friends at First National Bank of Brundage, and of course we appreciate John Ramage and all the support that he and of course his father Jimmy Ramage has given the Pike Liberal Arts over the years. And of course it all started back in 1904 when Mr. Jim Ramage started the bank, and ever since, ladies and gentlemen, and you do the math if you need to, but there's been a Ramage running that bank, and of course they're doing a great job.
Outstanding job.
Great local citizens of the Brundage community, and of course First National Bank on Main Street in Troy, Main Street in Brundage, and on Park Street in Troy, and two very good locations. Pike County, what we call First National Bank of Troy Brundage. And Coach, I want to also mention another good friend of ours and a good friend of the Goshen group that was in here earlier, and Charles Simpson group that was in here earlier, and your group, Coach, is Trojan Auto Parts, located on South Brundage Street, and Mike Kilcrease runs that store and owns that store and does a great job. Of course, his son is the head football coach at down the road here at Arrington, and doing very well. They're a team that lost their first couple of games, and then they've been on a tear.
I think they've been playing well.
It's never over until it's over, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, Pike Liberal went through a tough schedule. Now, y'all played 12 games or 11 games?
11. We got 11.
And now you didn't play a spring game. It all started way back on 8/20. And you beat Morgan, didn't you?
Yeah, we beat Morgan. That was one of them. That was a game that
was
got
before
rained.
everybody got hurt. Is that right?
Yeah, we had everybody there. It
took you 2 nights to do it. Is that right?
Right. Yeah, it was kind of ironic. We were looking at it. Somebody made a statement the other night that we've got 3 wins this year. They've all been on the road, and each one of them came on a different night. Because we won Thursday night last week. We won Friday night against Abbeville and Saturday night against Morgan. Really. So, but yeah, it was. That's when we had everybody, full complement. Everybody was playing, and really feeling pretty good. Knew we were going to have, a pretty decent team.
Of course, they went over to Selma, 100 miles away, and then drove. They got in a lightning situation, and they called a game. And instead of spending the night, these kids had to come all the way back home on another 100-mile travel, and then you came back on a Saturday, a football Saturday, and won a big game.
Right. It was an exciting game. Morgan had a pretty good football team. They got some good athletes also, and he's had some injuries over there also.
And of course, looking at your record, down the stretch, of course, you ran into a very good football team in Crenshaw Christian, who's undefeated right now. Is that right?
Right. They're undefeated. I think they're ranked number 2 probably.
And they did it with a few of your former players. Is that right?
Yeah. We won't go there. Yeah, they got a couple. They got a couple to play for 3 or 4.
And then you played Freeport, and Freeport, after you beat them 35-6 a year ago, they came back with a much better football team and beat you. Is that right?
Yeah, they've got a really good football team. You know, Crenshaw game, we lost a couple that night, and then lost a couple more the Freeport game. So that's where all the injuries really started piling up on us. But Freeport was a much improved team from this past year. Had a couple of really good running
backs. And you ran into some real good teams during the middle of the season. And a lot of this was, again, you had a bunch of injuries, and Northside Methodist was playing their best game of the year. Is that right?
Yeah, Northside was playing really good.
And they're going to be really good, aren't they?
It's a big school. They've got a lot of people going there out of Dothan and all, and so their enrollment is increasing.
And they're right there in the middle of Dothan, aren't they?
They're right, this side of the circle, I guess. Right there where the academy is.
Sure.
Right there, so they get their enrollment's increasing pretty good. So they're going to have some athletes the next few years. But, we got into that game where Northside, they were a lot bigger than we were physically. They were. I mean, like I said, we've only got one kid really over 200 pounds. Right. So.
And this is not like it. You've had some big, strong kids in the past, and it just worked out that way, didn't it?
Well, yeah, it did. But like I said, it's one of them things you got to deal with.
Of course, on the 20th, you ran into a Macon East team, probably one of the top teams in the state right now, you played them up there, and it was pretty tough.
Yeah, Macon East has got a good football team. They're big. They got a couple of really big running backs that run real well, and it's a physical game, and I look for them they could make some noise in the playoffs. No
question. Lee Scott pretty much the same way. You ran into them at a tough time, and you had to play them up there, a long trip up there too.
We did. That was a long road trip, but they're getting a lot better. They got Coach Johnson that moved in from Tuscaloosa, and their numbers went from probably 20 the year before to like 40 something this year. So he's got a lot of kids out, and he implemented the wing tee, and they did a really good job of running it, and they're getting better and better each week. They're also made the playoffs. So.
We ran into a rival game with Abbeville Christian, and pretty much played one of your best offensive games of the year.
Yeah, we played well against Abbeville. They've got some really good athletes, and I was really pleased with the way we went out and played that game.
Coach, it's such a long schedule. I don't even know if you even had a bye week, did you? You didn't have a single bye week, Coach.
No, we didn't.
Who did your scheduling, Coach?
I guess it would be me.
Then in October, you ran into a Fort Dale team. They probably played their best game of the year against you.
They probably did. That was a game we felt like we really let get away. We had a couple of opportunities.
Most all the game, did you?
We had a couple of opportunities to score, and turned the ball over a couple times that really hurt us. And they made a couple of big plays on some late downs, fourth down, and it came back to haunt us.
And of course, Monroe always tough. Boy, they're a tough team, and out of Monroeville, and y'all had to play them on the road too, didn't you?
Right, we played them down there. They're our region champion, and they've been play in the championship game just about the last 6 years, I believe. So.
Well, I'm counting 3 trips of well over 100 miles that you had to make one way, and that was a long ways to go there. And then, of course, this past weekend, big win in Montgomery against Success Unlimited, and now you're coming up on your last game of the year against Lakeside out of Eufaula, and they are always tough, especially when they play Pike. Big rival here.
Yeah, there's a little natural rivalry there. Coach Ponder was there for a while, and I know a lot of them kids, remember that. And but that's always been a pretty good rival game for us in football, basketball, and baseball, and they've got a pretty athletic team.
Well, Coach, we were talking about this earlier, and you look at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 27. We're talking about 27 players dressed at the first of the year. How many did you dress on this last game?
We've got 30 kids on the roster because we brought up a couple of JV kids in the middle of the year. So good. We've got 30 on the roster, but last week against Success we had 10 not dressed.
Isn't that amazing?
The week before that against Monroe it was 10 or 11 not dressed. So the ones that are not dressing are that's kids that are starters. Some of them are two-way starters. So. We did get one back last week. Holt Steed, he had missed. He got hurt the Crenshaw game and had been out all the way up until last week, and he had a really good game for us last week.
Coach, the young quarterback, how did he do?
He had a really good game. Parker's he's getting better and better each week.
And he's going Parker Adams. Remember that name. He's going to be a good one.
He is. He works really hard at practice. He wants to get better, and his reads and whether we're running the ball, throwing the ball, whatever, he does an outstanding job and getting better and better each day. He's going to really be a good one for us.
Some of your seniors, Coach, and we'll bring them to your attention. Of course, Pike Liberal Arts cheerleaders, 7 straight state championships in cheerleading, which is unheard of in these parts of the country. And Coach, your junior varsity program had a very good, successful year.
It did. They ended up 6-1-1, and like I said, we've got 7 of them that dress with us. So, and that night against Monroe, we had 8th grader, Parker was quarterbacking. We started 4 other 9th graders on offense.
Yeah. Coach, excuse me for using this term, but Coach, a lot of meat coming up on this number 76. It looked like it weighed around 3 and 77 and 64. You got at 70, 62 and 70. It's a pretty good looking lineman coming up, Coach.
There's some. Like I said, one of them is starting is playing center for us right now, 9th grader. And
who is that, Coach?
That's Davis Menifee. He's number 64. He's in that picture over there.
And that is a good looking look.
And
I tell you, your school is really, and of course you're renovating your gymnasium right now, putting a wood floor in, new bleachers. You're gonna make that place look like a new place.
It's looking better and better each day. That's one of the things that excites the kids. They can go in there and look at it, and they've been working on it for 2 weeks now. Hopefully they'll be through with it in a couple of weeks, but it's looking better and better each day.
We've got some great footage for you. And of course, Patriots. And last night you had your carnival, Coach.
Yeah, we had fall festival, and
everybody had a big time. And tell us a little bit about this game.
Well, Scott Taylor started the game with kicking one in the end zone, so that's a big plus for us because he kicks the ball real well.
Big 55 was all over the place there. Karen, who's that big guy there, Coach?
That was Rowan Price. Defensively,
Coach, he moves pretty good.
He does.
78, is that right?
79. And that's Davis Allen making a run.
I tell you, Davis has really played well the last 3 or 4 games, hasn't he?
He has had a great season for us. Played receiver. He's had to play running back. He's quarterbacked some, and he's back at running back and receiver now, and plays defensive back for us, returns punts, kicks. He's had a really, really good year for us.
And he's a kid that got fast enough. Speed means everything, especially when you go to college.
He got a lot of speed.
He's got a lot of speed.
He's got a lot of speed. But
would he, if he goes to the next level, would he be a wide receiver or a defensive back?
He could do either one. He'd probably be a receiver.
What happened here, Coach?
Well, it was a muff punt. That was Davis
right,
covering that. Yeah, he can't return it. It hit the kid, and so we picked it up. But
this game was played at the big church just south of Montgomery.
That's a big run by Davis right there. This is Chip Faircloth on this run. Chip's had a good year for us also.
All right, now your quarterback's been hurt. Did he play?
No, he won't be playing the rest of the year.
Yeah.
No, Parker played. The 8th grader played the whole game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, played the whole ball game.
Right, and that was Scott Taylor on the field goal.
It's good to know you got a guy that can kick it like that. Great effort there.
Yeah, that was Austin Spivey. Thought we got that pick right there, but he did a good job coming down there.
Coach, you're mentioning some names I haven't even heard of. So you're down deep into your roster.
But defensively, we're starting to play better the last 3 or 4 games. I mean,
look at this kid run out of the pocket, Coach. Look at this 8th grader.
Yeah.
Just an 8th grader, and what a move he made. Got pretty good speed, doesn't he?
It's pretty good. He don't think he does, but he's getting better and better. And that's another big run by Davis right there. He went over.
Look at this. Look at this kid.
He went over 120-something yards again. So.
That's great. Faircloth's been having a good year too, hasn't he?
He has. This may be the touchdown. That's a touchdown run by Davis right there.
Boy, look at him fight. He's strong, isn't he?
He is. He works hard. He works hard in the weight room also.
And of course, most of these kids, a lot of these kids play basketball too. As soon as it's over.
They do. That started the second half. They kicked it and they hit our up guy, and it went back to them, and they got the ball. And
this guy was quite an athlete. This quarterback, wasn't
he? Yeah, they had several really, really good athletes. I mean, they had a couple. They had one kid about 6'4", 6'5", about 240, 250. That's pretty good player, really good player. And defensively, we came through, had a big stop down here, and turned the ball over on downs. And,
Look here, Coach. Is this Davis or who is
That's
this?
Davis running again.
Man,
Another
oh
big
man,
run.
what a good run.
And that's Rowan Price and Lewis Brooks and Scooteroo making that play. And
Price is a big kid, Coach, and he moves. Looks like he got pretty good feet.
yeah, he does. Rowan's one of them.
Is he a senior?
He is. Right now, we have a lot of kids that are playing both ways, and he's one of them.
Again, this team had plenty of athletes, and you kept them backed up pretty good.
That's Davis with another run.
Coach, that looked like the old single wing TOT formation.
That was the fumble we had. They picked it up, ran it back.
They got back in the game.
Yeah, it made it 10-6. That makes you start thinking a little bit. We made a play right here to keep them out of the end zone with 2 points.
Yeah. .8:31 remaining, and you're up 10-6.
Yeah, we're getting near the end right here.
Coach, they look very inspired.
They're playing hard. That's all.
Sure
That's all we ask.
And your guy really preaches them being around the ball, getting a lot of hits around the ball. They gang tackle pretty well, like right there.
Yeah, we work on that. We try to do that every play in practice. When we make the play, when we're doing team, trying to get all 11 people to the ball.
And that scared you a little bit when this guy got out, but y'all got around.
He's a good athlete. That's the best play in football right there.
Yeah, exactly. And boy, I know you wanted to hug that kid's neck, number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, only an 8th grader, Austin Adams, is that right?
Parker Adams.
Excuse me, Parker Adams. And I know all you Adams is out there. What a great sports group they were.
Yeah, comes from a great family. Really
no
good
question
family.
about it. But I know they're excited about watching this young man play.
They are. It is, and he, like I said, he's accepted the challenge real well. He's working hard every day, fits in great. The kids treat him like anybody else, and they expect him to make plays.
Coach, let's run down. And some of these guys are not with you anymore, but let's go down this and let us know a little bit what grade they're in, and maybe tell us a little bit about them, whatever. But number 1 is Jackson Thin, and he's been steady, hasn't he?
He has. He's a junior. He plays outside linebacker. He can play secondary for us, but he starts at outside linebacker, and he's also a running back. Does a really good job for us.
He's a tough kid, isn't he?
He is. He loves to hit.
Number 2, Nick O'Brien, and he's a solid. He's one of the top athletes in the school, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's a senior, and he plays basketball also. But Nick plays Mike linebacker. He makes the calls for us defensively.
Makes a lot of tackles, doesn't he?
He does, and he also plays some receiver, little H-back type deal, and that is a really good year for him.
Number 4, Davis Allen, and of course Davis had a great career here at Pike.
Yeah, Davis is like I said, he's had a great year. He's played receiver, running back, quarterback, defensive back, returns punts and kicks, plays baseball. Really good athlete.
Got good hands, doesn't he?
He is, and he's been really a great leader for us. In the weight room and on the practice field.
That's great. Number 5, Morgan Sanders.
Morgan is a 9th grader. Played a lot for us this year. Had a really good game against Monroe, and we were going to start him against Success, but he got a concussion.
Oh boy.
So he's out for the rest of the year also. But Morgan's going to be a really good player for us.
Yeah, that's great. Number 6, Drew Nelson, only a 9th grader, but he doesn't act like that, does he?
Well, he's a 10th grader.
Oh, he's a 10th grader now.
grader.
Okay.
Yeah, Drew's an outstanding quarterback. Got hurt the Abbeville game and hadn't been back since.
Probably one of the best all-around athletes at Pike, wouldn't you say?
He is. He's a really good football player, a really good basketball player, and obviously he's a really good baseball player. And Drew's biggest asset. He's just a competitor. He likes to compete.
Then number 7, Scott Taylor Renfro, and he's been quite a kicker for you.
He's an outstanding kicker. He can punt. He plays wide receiver, defensive back. He plays wherever we need. He's just an ultimate team player.
What is his range now, Coach?
He can make 50. He can go
50 yards. That's something. And he's just a 10th grader?
No, he's a junior.
Junior, okay, he's a junior now, and of course I know he'll be working hard to even get better. Of course, Lakeside. That game's going to be played here, Coach?
Yes, sir. That's senior night. It'll be senior night.
So that'd be a good place to go Friday night, won't it?
It would be. Really good.
And should be a good game. Jaden Jordan is number 8.
Right, he's a 10th grader. He's a defensive back, receiver, running back. He's been hurt the last 3 or 4 weeks also. So, you know.
And here's a guy that's got a lot of potential, especially with his size, is Levi Sight.
Yeah, Levi's only played 1 game. He hurt his shoulder. He got hurt last year, you know, in basketball and baseball, and he missed the first couple of games and came back to the Freeport game and scored a couple touchdowns, and then he got hurt in practice the next week, and he hadn't been back. But he's a football, basketball, baseball guy.
Chip Faircloth had a great year, number 11. Did he reach the 1,000 mark?
He's right at it. He's pretty close. But yeah, Chip's had a really good year for us. You know, plays running back, plays outside linebacker, plays some inside linebacker.
Another kid that runs pretty well, doesn't he?
Runs really well for his size.
All right, number 12 is newcomer Connor Cox, moved into this area and helped you out at wide receiver, didn't he?
Connor had a really good year for us, but he got hurt. Couple of weeks, got hurt against Fort Dale, and hadn't been back either. So,
and ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the top classification. We're not talking about 1A, 2A. We're talking about 3A Alabama Independent Schools, and they're good football players, and a lot of them dress 50 or more players, and you run into a depth situation here.
Yeah, it is. Like I say, the one thing we've done, we got to play a lot of young kids. You know, they're getting better and better each week, and you know, like I said, we've been playing better and better, and they play hard. That's the thing. You know, they go out there and play hard, and they give you everything.
Number 13, Case Shirako, young player, gonna be a good one.
Yeah, Case Shirako he's a 10th grader, plays receiver and outside linebacker, and he's had a good year for us also.
Number 14, Austin Spivey.
Yeah, Austin is. You saw him made that play a while ago. You know, him and his twin brother came in, and I don't think they'd played football since the 5th grade.
Oh,
and,
really?
They've gotten better and better each week, and
That's great.
both of them, they'll be starting this Friday night in the secondary, both of them.
Well, that's great. Number 15, Avery Arnsberger.
Yeah, Avery actually, he was 15 when that picture was made. He was a receiver, and then you know, we moved him to center. And he played center for the majority of the year, but then he got hurt. He got hurt about 3 weeks ago too. So hopefully he'll be back this week. He came back in practice this week, and then he got the flu yesterday. So hopefully he'll be back Friday.
Let me throw a little something in. The Troy quarterback this past weekend threw for 425 yards, and all night Friday night and all day Saturday night he was showing throwing up with the flu.
Yeah, it's going around right now.
And he gets out there and he throws for 425 yards.
You can do it.
Skylar Kidd, number 16.
Yeah,
Coach.
Skylar was also one of them. He was a receiver, but we changed his number to 76. he started at guard, and he starts at inside linebacker.
It's a big difference too, isn't it?
It is, and but he's done a really good job. He's had a really good year for us on both sides of the ball.
Number 17, Kenyon Wiggins.
Yeah, he's
Wiggins.
Yeah, he's not there. He's not here anymore. So.
Okay. Number 20, Cade Renfro.
Cade is a 9th grader. Started at receiver last week, and
is that Adam's son? Is that Adam Renfro's son?
That's Al's son. That's Scott Taylor's brother.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, you know, Cade's going to be a good player for us. Like I say, he's a 9th grader, plays receiver, defensive back. He actually kicked for us when Scott Taylor was hurt and missed a couple of games.
Number 22, Alex Henderson.
And, he's not with us right now.
Number 25, K.C. Bradford, and of course, he's going to be a good one.
K.C. is a 9th grader, plays receiver, running back, defensive back, linebacker. He's a 9th grader. Like I say, he's a 9th grader starting both ways for us right now.
Number 32, Jacob Spivey, the other Spivey brother.
Right, they're juniors, and he plays wide receiver and defensive back, and he'll, like I said, he'll be starting this Friday night.
Number 34, Marks Copeland.
Yeah, Marks' number got changed to 75 also. He was a receiver that we moved the line that started, you know, when we got some injuries, and he's out right now also. So, but he played defensive end for us and guard for predominantly most of the season.
Number 37, Trevor Bryan.
His number got changed too. He was number 60, and we moved him to 60, and he played some defensive end and offensive line for us too. But he's out right now also.
Oh gosh.
He's in.
Number 50, Jaquavian Johnson.
Yeah, Scooteroo is.
What do y'all call him?
We call him Scooteroo.
He's been good for you, hasn't he?
He has. He plays anywhere on the offensive line. He can center. He's played guard, tackle. He plays defensive tackle, defensive end. He's a really good player for us. Does a really good job.
Number 54, Jaquavian Meadows.
That should be Holt Steve. That's Holt
that
Steve.
is Holt Steve.
Like I said, Holt plays offensive line, defensive line for us, and he can play anywhere. He punts.
And a great left-handed pitcher on your baseball team.
He really is, and you know, like I said, he missed 6 or 7 games right there in the middle of the year, but he's back right now, and you can tell he's a big difference for us.
I was glad to see this in the film, number 55, Frankie Jeffcoat. Boy, what a player!
Yeah, but you didn't see him.
I thought I saw 55. I didn't see 55.
No, he's still hurt. He got hurt the Freeport game, and he hadn't been back. He, you know,
and of course he was your leading tackler before.
He was the first 3 or 4 games, and you know, he's killing him not to be back.
Number 65, Blake Lavinaire.
Yeah, Blake Laviner's he's a senior. He plays offensive line, defensive line for us, and you know, Blake gives he'll be starting at guard this week.
Number 77, Bubba Dean.
Bubba's a 10th grader. Bubba's about 6'5", 6'6", about 200.
He's gonna be good.
He starts on the offensive line. He's gotten better and better each week. We just got to work on some flexibility and all that.
And then number 79,
Rowan Price.
Rowan Price, and this is a big kid too.
Yeah, he plays O-line, D-line. Rowan's about 260.
You know, you look at a big kid's feet. You know how well he moves his feet. I thought he moved his feet pretty good.
He is. He does a good job. And then we brought up Colton Taylor, who's number 70, that plays offensive line, defensive line from the JV, and Davis Kilcrease, who is, Davis Kilcrease, who, you know, Mr. Kilcrease's grandson, I guess. He started for us at running back and inside linebacker against Monroe, and played some last week. He's playing, you know, as a 9th grader, and then we have Davis Menifee that is starting at center for us, a 9th grader that you know, that we brought up, and plays defensive line for us.
And of course, you know, these are the kids that been going to Pike Liberal ever since they were in kindergarten, most of them.
Yeah,
and,
most of them.
You know, people say, well, Pike goes out and recruits. Y'all don't really do a lot of recruiting. You get players that grow up right there in your school, isn't that right?
We do. We got a lot of there. Now we've got, you know, we get some kids, like, you know, 3 or 4 of them kids moved in that are baseball guys,
sure.
You know, that are playing football. They're, you know, they're getting better and better every day. Like I said.
Of course, you're the AD, and we're, you know, of course, you got a baseball program that could very well win a 3rd consecutive baseball championship. I know they got to do it, and it's a tough league to do it in, but that's phenomenal, Coach.
It is. They're you know, Coach Ponder does an outstanding job.
I mean, Holt Steed and my buddy Drew probably got the best changeup I've ever seen on a kid that age, number 6. But they're both left-handers and they're both good.
Yeah, we've got some pitching, and you know, anybody knows baseball knows that's where it starts. You know, if you get some good pitchers, you can keep people from scoring runs. You got a chance.
Other than that, though, a lot of these kids are young. A lot of these baseball players, is that right?
Yeah, most of them are pretty young.
You
know, like I said, we got something to build on in the future.
Well, Coach, your school is growing. Like we said, they are completely renovating the gymnasium, and I know everybody's excited. Of course, the folks at First National Bank of Troy Brundage, John Ramage and his staff want to wish the Patriots further success in the basketball after the season's over with basketball and baseball. And you've got a big game this week at home against always big rival Lakeside.
We do. It'll be tough. You know, but we
I
need
bet
everybody
they've got
to come
some
out.
players.
They got some really good-looking athletes, really good-looking kids.
You know, for years they've had great teams, and I remember the basketball teams and all that. They've always had good athletes.
They do. They really do. And yeah, it's no different this year when you see them on film and all that.
Yeah.
There's some really good-looking kids.
Well, Coach, we're going. You have the opportunity to come back next week and talk about the game. If not, you know, I wanted to cover all of this and so forth. And I know you're are busy after Friday night's game. You're starting to get ready for basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even give you a week, do they?
Well, we'll. No, I know Coach Ponder and them are going to start Monday with the boys, and the girls are already doing a little bit. They get them up there in the morning early, so they're trying to get some things going and get in the right direction. And you know, right now the hardest thing is, you know, with the gym being renovated, you got to find places to practice and do all that. And we've been fortunate that people are helping us out in that standpoint. And you know, most of our early games, I think our first game is November the 19th. Well, our girls are actually going to play in a tournament in a couple of weeks. So, but our boys, the whole gamut of schools, you know, the first game is November the 19th, I believe, against Success, who and it was going to be a home game, but we switched it. So like most of our November and early December games are going to be on the road, you know, so we can make sure we got the gym ready to go.
That's right.
And we'll play a lot of games.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun, Coach. And of course, you know, Pike Liberal Arts continues to grow in all aspects of athletics and education, and it's an outstanding school right here in Troy. You know, not many of all these teams in the Alabama Independent Schools have a coaches show, have a playback show, have people that are willing to sponsor a playback show, and you're able to do it right here.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. You know, Troy Cabell does a tremendous job around, you know, supporting the schools. You know, Troy Messenger does also, and it's, you know, we live in a really good area for that.
Now your game will be televised locally at least, won't it?
I think it is. I'm not.
You still got a television crew, don't you?
We do.
And of course, that's a big game starting 7 o'clock kickoff from Delaney Kirby Stadium right here in Troy, and it should be a good one. Pike Liberal Arts against the Lakeside Chiefs. Go Trojans!